Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline and my today's guest is Chris. Hello, how are you doing today?
Hi, Caroline. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here this morning with you. It's this
Wow,
morning
great.
for me. This morning for me.
It's morning for you in Pittsburgh, you told me, and I'm in Germany, and we have a time difference of, I don't know, 8 hours, six
So
hours.
something like that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I would love to introduce you to the audience first, of course. So, you are the founder and CEO of Blue Chip Solutions, and you serve on the board of Coeptis. You have to help me with this Therapeutics Holdings Inc. However, your most fulfilling roles are as a father, husband, and friend. Your new book, What's Good About Today, shares the profound impact of your son Christian's response to a fatal diagnosis, offering hope and inspiration through personal stories and testimonials. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast, Chris.
Hi. Thank you. Great introduction. I appreciate that.
Okay, my first question is, what was the most transformative moment in your journey that inspired you to write What's Good About Today, and how has it changed your perspective on life?
That's a very good question. Uh, it's it's clear that the most transformative thing that's happened in my life happened when my son, actually two dates, right? The date my son was diagnosed with terminal cancer, August 26th of 2020, and September 1st of 2021 when he passed away a year from the course of a year. So those were transformative. I always looked at myself as someone, someone pre-cancer and someone after cancer. I really don't recognize that guy pre-cancer. So it transformed me into a different person in how I look at the world, right? Because every day we have a choice of either to be overwhelmed by darkness in our lives or to seek the light. And no matter how dim it may seem. And I know this because I lived it. My son, Christian, lived it. My family lived it. And really, it's not just my story. It's not just his story, but to remind you and even everyone who's listening that even in the face of unimaginable loss and difficulties, there's something good about each day. And so I decided to write the book because when my son was given this terminal diagnosis, he was, and we were upset as parents. He would say to us on a daily basis when we were down and out, and just out of it, he would say, "What's good about today?" And see, it was his daily reminder that you can find the beauty, you can find the wonder, you can find all kinds of wonderful things in a day if you remind yourself every day of that. And so that's what inspired me to write the book. Certainly, Christian is really the main inspiration. That's why, yes, it's written by me, but inspired by Christian to lead a purposely driven life. And I believe the book demonstrates that if you go to it, you look through it, you'll see that this is how my son lived his life. And he lived it since he was a child to when he took his last breath with us around him. So I try to bring that forward. And that was the most transformative time clearly in our lives.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. And first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss, of course, of your son. I can feel it, and I can also feel that he's here and listening to us, watching us here talking about the choice we have. And you pointed that out, the choice to how we look at things and also what things to choose, right? And this fits perfectly to the title of this podcast, Inspired Choice Today. What do you choose? It's your choice. And we have a choice. This is so important. I
Mhm.
love what you shared. Thank you so much. Now I understand the book and your intention behind it, of course, and what motivated you. Let me see what is my next question. Of course, I have the next question. Can you share a personal story from the book that deeply resonates with you and illustrates the profound impact Christian had on those around him?
Well, there's lots of stories in the book, but I think one in particular demonstrates Christian's selflessness and to make a choice. I remember the Christian was at the Cleveland Clinic going through all kinds of studies and we were trying to save his life. There was a moment I actually got called by a nurse. Her job at the hospital simply was to transport patients from one wing to another. This usually took an hour because it's big. The Cleveland Clinic is big. And during that process, her job is to point out certain artworks and installations to take the person away from what they're going through. And I remember she called me and she said to me, Chris, I wanted to call you. I'm breaking protocol because I'm not allowed to talk about conversations and these type of things, but I feel it's important to give you this information. She pointed out what she does, and she indicated that as she was starting to go through that, Christian stopped her and didn't really want to go through that. He wanted to learn about her. He spent the entire hour asking about her life, asking about her family, asking about how well she was doing, what she was doing to make joy to others. And what she said to me was profound. She said, Chris, your son didn't owe me anything because he was very close to death, but he gave me everything. And it demonstrated simply that Christian was selfless. He made a choice. He made a choice that he was going to embrace others, to bring them joy. He wasn't going to use it as an opportunity to say, woe is me. As a matter of fact, I will tell you, the choice that Christian made when he was diagnosed with terminal cancer at the age of 22 years of age is that he never complained one time. In the course of actually having the disease, he never said, woe is me. He never said, why me? And he did the opposite. He lived, he thrived, he made a choice. And so I think that story exemplifies that he put all his efforts into others. And I think that's what, I think if anyone does that, I think it brings a lot more to our souls and gives us a better meaning.
Wow, I understand. And I'm speechless now, but we have our interview, of course. So he forgot about himself, can one say this, and focused on the other person and how to improve their lives. Wow,
Yes,
it's so impressive. Thank you so much for sharing.
of course.
Okay. What message or takeaway do you hope readers will carry with them after reading your book? And how do you see it influencing their approach to finding meaning and purpose in everyday life?
Well, I talk really, of course, I've written the book, but I do go out and I talk a lot and speak at lots of different places. I talk about three things. One is the power of perspective, right? It's important to understand that every day you got to look at your perspective and ask yourself what's good about today. The second thing is we've talked about is resiliency in daily choices, right? So watching my son endure endless treatments, therapies, and surgeries, I realized something profound. Resilience isn't a trait. You see, hear this again. Resiliency is not a trait, it's a decision. And Christian made that decision every single day. And I also believe legacy is built on small moments, right? Every interaction we have, every small kindness, every smile, that's what people remember. It's easy to get caught up in wanting to achieve big things. But the truth is, our greatest legacy is built in everyday moments. And ultimately, what I want people to take away from the book and what they will feel is that life, it will hand you challenges. It does for all of us, right? That's the way life is. But it can bring us to our knees. And sometimes we won't know how to move forward. But if there's one thing Christian taught me is this: there is always something good about today. It might be small, it might be hidden, but it's there. And we can choose to focus on that when we embrace resiliency and when we commit to creating a legacy built on love and kindness and courage. We don't just survive, we thrive. So I always encourage everyone to use the mantra of what's good about today in their daily lives, because I do believe it can be transformative.
Wow, I love that. Thank you for sharing. The title helps already without having read the book, of course, what is good about today. And what you pointed out about that resilience is a decision. We talked about choice as well, making a decision every single day of your life. Of course, how do you want to feel? How do you want to make feel others? And what you said about we don't remember others, maybe, but we remember how they made us feel, right? Someone
Correct.
told that to me.
Yeah.
You talked about smiling as a smile. You don't know some people on the street. They smile at you, and this is the good thing about today.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. It's the little things. It's the little things. Yep.
Absolutely. Let's have a look. I think these were my questions, of course. So let's ask you about your goals for the future. Do you set intentions or goals? What are your next projects?
Well, right now, my biggest project is getting the word out and the book. Right, it's to spend the energy to meet with yourself, have these discussion, and hopefully, I always believe even if it just takes one, right? So if one person's listening and they get something from this, that's very important. What I have noticed, and it's nice to see, the book is selling quite well. It's kind of a weird thing. Of course I want it to sell because that means more people are getting the message and reading the story. It is nice to see that I get reports that the book is selling overseas. So it is a global distribution book. It's actually sold in Germany. And so I'm happy that it's getting, the message out. So projects for me are speaking. I'm invited to speak at universities, which I really love to do. And the reason for that is because they're young adults. They were just like my son. And so they're at a point in their life where they're about to take off in their life, right? They're going to get bigger responsibilities and new life changes and lots of pressures that come on with that. So I feel it's a great opportunity for someone like myself to tell them about what's good about today, to help them understand the beauty that exists every single day. And these are impressionable minds. And I think the more I can do young adults and children, obviously some of this topic is deep, but I try to invigorate them about the joy in life and to recognize the joys in life because so many of us are not present. So many of us are just looking past things. And I think if we can focus to the simplest thing, and that's what's great about what's good about today. It's not a complicated message, right? It's not something that you're going to go, I don't understand, it's got a question mark, right? It's questioning what's good about it. It helps you question that. So I wanted to keep it simple. And I think that, on my chart is just really I'm at God's will. So wherever God sends me, that's what I do. I just kind of go with the wind.
Oh, I love that so much. And I love that you've been sent to my podcast show here and we can spread the message as well. And also what you said something about getting the message to young people, young adults. And I see you speaking at universities, also at graduation. How is it called? Graduation speeches when they
Graduation
graduate,
ceremonies. Yeah,
something
sometimes,
like
but
that.
that happens, but sometimes it's mostly just universities will call me up and I speak to a wider body of students. Sometimes it's specific just specific departments where I'm asked to speak at. So yeah, I it could be the honors college of a particular college. So yeah. Yeah, it's different departments.
Yes, so you have a task to fulfill, a calling. This is your purpose, and I also love the question, "What is good about today?" Because when I think about journaling or doing gratitude exercises, this question can help because and also to change perspective because the answer is always different, right? From day to day, it can be a different answer.
Sure. Yeah, no, it can. Right? Everybody has difficult days. And I always like to say, some will say, well, when do I say what's good about today? Should it be at the end of a day? Or I'm like, no, it could be at the beginning of the day, right? You can wake up and you can say what's good about today. And you can look outside and you can see the birds, you can see the sun, you can see the snow. I don't care. You can meet a friend, you can get a call, you can have a drink, a cup of coffee. It doesn't, you have to look at the little things in life that bring you joy. And that is what's good about today, every part of the day. And so but at the end of the day, you can do it as well. You can look back on your day and see the moments of goodness.
Yes, absolutely. And also what you shared about it's not surviving. Life is about thriving, right? And to
Mhm,
develop and continue, not giving up, of course, and always expand and express ourselves as well.
mhm. I agree. Agreed.
Yes. Okay. So this was our interview, and now it's time for your last thoughts to the audience. Of course, you can share where we can find you when people want to reach out to you, of course. please.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, listen, you can Google my son Christian Cochran anywhere. You'll pull up all kinds of information on Christian. ChristianCochran.org is really everything about the foundation that we do. We work with underprivileged children. This is a foundation that was set up by my son prior to his passing. He wanted to set up a foundation to help support those who were in need. And so we built that foundation to support many other organizations and schools and scholarships. And of course, you can buy the book on Amazon, and you can buy the book at Barnes and Noble. I don't think Barnes and Noble may be in Germany, but online realtors in Germany or anywhere in the world, you can buy this book. And you can seek me out if you wish on chriscochranspeaks.com. There you'll find information about speaking engagements, things that we're doing to bring light to otherwise darkest moments. And so that's where you can find it. But at the end of the day, most important thing is that people find joy. If they get anything today, it's what's good about today, and keep reminding yourself there is absolutely something good about today.
Wow, that was so great, especially when you said bringing light to the world and finding out what's good about today. Thank you so much. Please reach out to Chris. Check out the website. I put it in the show notes. And of course, I created a book list on Amazon. Your book will be on that list of all of my podcast guests. Thank you so much, Chris, for being on this show today.
Thank you, Caroline. It was my pleasure. And I feel this is what's good about today for sure.
See you in the next episode.